Good morning, watch nerds. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my review of this Zelos Helica. Helica in English meaning winding. Strange name for a watch model, but there you go. Zelos, as most of you know, are a single port based microband and renowned for excellent specification, quality and value for money. But that said, they have risen a lot in price over the last few years. My first encounter with the brand is when I purchased a Zelos Mako 42, but later bought a Mako 40, then a black tip, an Horizon 39, and even a Mako in bronze. However, I haven't owned any of the brand for a few years now. So let's get the price out of the way first. One of these when in stock is $599 plus any additional duty or VAT, which if you live in the UK will equate to about £532. So although not fantastically expensive, not that cheap either. I should mention that I bought this good used one from an eBay seller for a pretty reasonable price. More about the price later. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Zelos Helica. Now I'll say it here and now, this is probably classed as a Garda watch, but I'll challenge that and say if it was a few millimetres smaller, I'd possibly describe it as a dress watch. In brief, let's consider this a dressy Garda. And this is my watch of the day. It's a watch that's been one of my favourites for a while now. It's the Coast Pacific Explorer. Now it arrived in a rather nice 3-watch travel case. Now I know you don't wear the packaging, but somehow, when it's right, you just know the watch is going to be good. And to be fair, this watch is. Inside was a 2-year warranty card. Starting with the dimensions. Well, they did release this in a 42mm version for those men who spend too much time eating McDonald's and chocolate. Just joking, of course. But the majority of sales were for the 39mm option, this being one of those. Now the lug width to accompany that is 20mm. The lug to lug is 45.5mm. And the depth, including a raised box sapphire crystal with AR coating, is around 12.5mm. When sized to fit my 17cm wrist, it weighs in at 123 grams. Inside is the Helica 9015, which is by far the most popular automatic movement in watches around this price point, mainly because it's about the best you'll get for the money. It's accurate and it's reliable, and if it ever goes wrong, it's probably cheaper to replace than repair. It's a high beat 4Hz movement that ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour. It hacks hand winds, and it's got a power reserve of around 42 hours. On the wrist, this is running around 8 seconds a day fast, but let's have a look at what it says on the time grapher. And there we are, perfect beat error and acceptable amplitude. And although the rate indicates it's a little bit fast, on the wrist it's just the 8 seconds a day that I've already stated. So certainly not worth having the back off of this one. The 6.5mm crown is beautifully knurled, signed and screws down to aid the watch's claimed 100 metres of water resistance. Now it operates the movement without issue, however engagement is just a little bit gritty. Like most Zelos watches, the case is quite angular, something I've never been a great fan of, but that's just personal taste. That said, this does fit very well to the back of the wrist. So I don't have to keep repeating it, I'll say it now. All the polishing and the brushing, whether it's on the case or the bracelet, is absolutely excellent. Now the top of the bezel is brushed, whilst the sides of the bezel are polished. That then leads down to horizontally brushed lugs to the top. Now the sides are triple tiered and they go polished, brushed, polish. I think it's fair to say that this case is quite complex. This is one of the nicest case backs I think I've ever seen. It's deeply etched with a swirling pan and the Zelos said in the centre. Around the outside is some basic information. As you can see, it screws down, which once again helps the watch's claim water resistance. The bracelet. Oh, the wonderful bracelet. Now it's got 5 individual links and it tapers down from 20mm to 16mm, then back up to 18mm for the clasp. As you can see, it's got a mixture of brushing and polishing. As well as looking fantastic, it's incredibly comfortable. Now it's no surprise that the female end links fit perfectly to the case, and it's got quick release spring bars, as well as well engineered screw pins for adjustment. Now here are a few photos of what it may look like if you decide to put it on a strap. Now the clasp is a great match for the bracelet. It's fully milled, it's brushed, it's signed, and it's got double pushers. It's got an excellent on-the-fly adjustment, and it's operated by pushing the little Zelos button you can see on the top. This is probably the best on-the-fly clasp I've ever handled, and that actually includes my Christopher Wald. So what's left? The dial, I suppose, which is no doubt the star of the show. Now this probably adds to the cost, but it's actually CNC cut rather than stamped, which I would imagine takes longer and costs more. As a result, we get a pronounced galoche pattern. Now when the light is right, the dial is absolutely stunning, although when indoors, it generally looks a little bit generic. Now the watch comes in various colours, and the price may vary depending on which one you go for. Here are a few, but check out the website, which I'll leave a link to below. The only text or printing is the Zelos logo under the 12, although there is a colour matched date window at the 6. This is great because your eyes just tend to focus on the texturing. Now there's a minute track on the outer, then fairly basic indices thereon. Being a Zelos, the indices and the hands are filled with a very generous application of BGW9 lume, which includes the yellow tip second hand. Honestly, the lume on this thing matches any of my divers of brightness and longevity. Now here's a speeded up video of that lume. So what do I think about the Zelos Helica? Some of you may wonder why this watch costs a little bit more than say an Erebus Ascent, or even a San Martin SN0144, which are both excellent watches. Well, it may be down to a few minor, but also significant points, if that makes any sense. The CNC cut dial justifies some of the price. The case is extremely detailed, and seriously, the bracelet and clasp are absolutely top notch. My advice as usual is always try and pick up a good used one, but I suppose they may be few and far between. So that brings me to the end of this review, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave your comments below, and enjoy the rest of your day.